Hi, y'all. Thank you so much for coming back to another What Else is Going On, aka We Go podcast episode. I am your girl, your host, Taria. So, we are getting ready to get into Potomac, y'all. This is episode 6 called Shady Water. So, let's jump right on into it, okay? Excuse me, y'all. I came from the gym, sat down, and said, take my notes. I watched it about two and a half, three times in and out the day. The third full time was me taking my notes. And so I made myself go to the gym after work and said, get home, get this review done. So let's get into it. All right. So they pick up from last week. Stacy had walked in to Karen, concerned, asking her if she thinks she needed to go to rehab. Karen says, thank you for asking me. And no. Jazzy said, so rehab is not something you think you need at all. And Karen said, no. And if I did, I would tell you all. Stacy said, but you never told them, like meaning you never told them though, right? Kay says Karen is very open and honest about who she is and what she has going on. So Karen says, look, she is not ashamed, honey, and it doesn't bother her because she's an advocate for people who, if we get sick, let's go get help. Karen says Mia has been through rehab herself, and then let's reveals that that's the whole reason Mia opened up the clinic, like the joint clinic, was because she was addicted to opioids. So I remember when Mia herself said this, she was on, I don't know if it was Fox 5 News Today, DC something, but didn't know it was the joint. I thought she opened up either Massage Envy or something else. I need to go back and look because I thought Mia had opened up allegedly Massage Envies, and then when she got with Jordan, they turned Gordon, they turned him into the joint. I don't know. But so yes, Mia herself had said she was addicted to opioids. So, child, when Karen tells the ladies, they're like, oh my God, what? So, in her confessional, Stacy says, I love Karen, but this is too much at this point. Now we're just throwing out anything. Mia is a lot of things, but we're not going to do that. Child, I was like, do what? Because it's true. She was addicted to opioids. Again, she has said this herself. Um, Karen says in the scene, my court date is in 2 weeks, and I know it's hard for you as my friends to wait. Stacy said, it hurt me to hear that about you. Karen said, look at who you're talking to. You're talking to a woman who is sleeping with her boyfriend while her husband is in the house with her. Are you kidding me? No, I'm good. I said, come on, Karen. So in her confessional, Karen says, Mia doesn't want to protect anyone. Mia wants to elevate herself. She'll step on Jesus to stand up. I take this personally. Payback is a mother effer. I said, come on, Karen. In her confessional, Wendy says, look, I feel for my girls dealing with this drama, but I'm in a birthday bubble. I ain't got time for this. I'm a whole new decade. Like, no. They show Ashley calling her kid's child. She called them to check on them. They good. They show a flashback of the child climbing all up on the roof of the car. Lord Jesus, like he was climbing on the counter a couple seasons ago. In her confessional, Ashley says she's slowly getting used to being a single mom and she's going out with friends, traveling, and basically trying to establish a routine with her sons. So then we have Ashley, Stacy, Karen, and Kay at the pool talking about how good the water feels. Stacy says, we're supposed to be getting adjustments. I haven't been getting adjusted in a long time. So I guess they thought they were going to the joint to get adjustments. Huh, nope. Karen talks about how she used to support Mia's business. She had a joint membership, and they show a flashback to Karen getting her back cracked, saying, this reminds me of Ray. Karen says, I'm real. I guess she's a real one, right? Child Jazzy comes out in her gold suit looking as good as she wanna look, honey, looking like a solid gold record, looking good. She said, this is why I came to Lake Norman. They asked her, was she getting in? And did y'all catch? She said, I'm going to slither in. Y'all remember the slither with Karen and Wendy? Child, she said she's going to slither in. And proceeds to fall straight. Y'all, I was like, oh my God. It was like, what happened between her slithering in, her foot hitting that water to just boom, child? She went all the way down. Ashley was like, girl, that was funny. I said, come on. So Stacy says, how does Jazzy look even better when she's wet? Then she says, between your body, talking about Jazzy, and this one here, my roommate talking about Kay, she said Kay's lingerie is on another level. Her FaceTime call, and I'm not trying to tell all your business. And Kay said, we FaceTimed all night. Um, Stacy says, I did not FaceTime all night. They show a flashback of TJ. Stacy talking to TJ. We saw that last week. Him telling her he loves her, blah, blah, blah. Stacy said she has feelings for TJ and she misses him when she doesn't talk to him. She said, we pray together. We talk about our future plans together. I want to introduce him to Arabella one day. Jazzy said, that's some real feelings right there. So Wendy comes out looking absolutely gorgeous in her yellow. Karen says to Stacy, when will you be divorced? Stacy said, I don't really have an answer for that because we have not agreed on all the things we need to agree on. So Karen says, well, Ashley can tell you about that. Check this. So Ashley says, June 11th, baby, June 11th, I'm going to mediation and it's going to be done. And then she says she will have an agreement so that she can actually file for her divorce. In her confessional, Ashley says she really hasn't had a sit down with Michael in over a year. It's nerve wracking, but I'm excited to finally take this step in my marriage. She then tells them that after her mediation on June 11th, by the way, this is 2024, after her mediation on June 11th, it could be up to 3 months till she's actually divorced. As I'm recording this evening, it's Veterans Day, which, by the way, happy Veterans Day to you all. My daughter is a veteran, so we thank all of you for your service. It's November 11th, even though this is not coming out till the 12th. This is November 11th that I'm recording this, okay? She had her mediation June 11th, June to July, July to August, August to September, September to October, October to November. 5 months. She said it could be up to 3 months. Ashley still ain't divorced, is she? Okay. And we know they filmed this in May because Wendy's birthday's in May. Anyway, Stacy says, okay, I'm going to ask you, Ashley, you've got two beautiful boys. Are they meeting your dates? Ashley says, absolutely not. So Karen is like, are you always going to run them by Michael? Ashley basically lets them know that her and Michael have an agreement. So basically, if Michael's going to have a woman around the kids, she needs to meet them and vice versa. Karen said she wanted to make sure she was engaged first, basically, before she would introduce the child. So we know that Karen was married before Ray and had her son. So I'm wondering, did Ray not meet her son until they were engaged? Who knows? So Kay said Karen is a little bit old school, waiting all the way to the fiance. But basically, she's with her partner now, has two kids. He gets to see her with his kids and basically how she's going to be with them as a possible positive figure. In her confessional, she says, I'm the rich auntie in real life, but in the house. So Wendy asked Stacy, so your husband doesn't know about TJ? Stacy says, of course he does, but he doesn't know TJ's feelings for me. So Wendy said, well, who does he think TJ is? Stacy said, a friend, I guess. Jazzy said, I do agree with what Karen is saying. I do agree because I'm in a situation where my significant other does have children, and it can be very tricky and it can be very serious with the relationships. I would say once you knew that an engagement was around the corner. So they show a flashback to Jazzy and Darius picking out a ring. In her confessional, Stacy says Jazzy has a big public relationship with an NFL player. While she talks about children, we really haven't talked about the nuts and bolts. I said, come on, Stacy, clock in as a housewife. And in a flashback, we see Stacy asking Jazzy if her man has kids. Jazzy says, yes, he has two kids, and they were both here before me. Okay, so she tells Stacy they were both here. They were both here. Both of the kids, 1, 2. 1 + 1 is 2. They were both here before me. Then they show a flashback of Jazzy and Kay and Ashley on their way to Lake Norman in the SUV. And Jazzy saying he didn't have any kids when we first met. The person was already pregnant. Now remember, in the first flashback with Stacy, he has two kids. They were here before me. Then we see her telling Ashley and Kay, he didn't have any kids when we first met. The person was already pregnant. Then we see her in another flashback with Ashley and Mia, and she's saying both babies were already baking, were already there before he and I ever had sex. So is she basically trying to say both of the kids, he had two women pregnant at once, but then if one is 3 and one is 1, that wouldn't make. And so maybe what she's trying to say is the 3-year-old was before her, and then this 1-year-old was technically maybe a month or 2 before her. In her confessional, Stacy says, um, she believes there's more than what meets the eye in that situation. So Karen says, whatever leads to your ultimate happiness, I say go for it, with your children being the priority. Child, here comes Jacqueline. And y'all, every time Jacqueline comes, my butthole clenches and I cringe because she is so cringy. Every time she opens her mouth, I'm just like nervous. Like, what's she going to say stupid next? So they show Mia. Mia's like, oh, let me get the door. They're back at the pool. Wendy says, I'm really proud of my leg muscles. Do y'all see this? Jacqueline says, y'all wait till I get my work done. Y'all ain't going to be able to tell me nothing. Mia comes out and says, special delivery, and they're flowers from Eddie, the boys, and the dog. Stacy says, Wendy, are we going to see that body in this pool, baby? And Wendy gets up and does a little model walk. So they all start twerking and dancing, and they say Stacy is stiff, child. Mia drops it like it's hot on Kay, clapping them cheeks. And Wendy says in her confessional, Mia has a history of clapping for forgiveness. And they show a flashback of her on that bus pole dancing. Um, Kay says, you can twerk on me all you want. I heard, or in her confessional, Kay says, you can twerk on me all you want. I heard what you said. They showed a flashback about Mia saying how she dated a drug dealer. Mia then tells Kay to give her a hug, and they hug. Giselle arrives, y'all, and Jazzy is sitting at the table doing her makeup. Jazzy fills Giselle in on the foolery that was going on. So basically, Giselle was like, what's tea, baby? What's been going on? Jazzy says something interesting, which I guess production cut that part out. She says, baby, we got people saying that they're basing their businesses off of drug dealer money. Like basically, the drug dealer money is help them open their business. She said, it's been a lot. Giselle says, who has a business that a drug dealer money helped? And Jazzy says, Kay. Then she brings up Ashley asking Kay if there's a scar on her forehead. And Giselle confirmed that there is a scar. She said it's obviously on her forehead. Giselle says, so what did you do, Jazzy? And Jazzy said, I listened and was like, okay. Giselle said, was this last night or this morning? Jazzy let her know, child, this was all at breakfast where they served us chicken. So Giselle was like, nobody mad? Is there anybody I should check on? Ashley comes downstairs and child, I don't care what nobody say. Ashley, Jazzy don't see it for Ashley. Probably based on watching this show and maybe the little experience she had of her up to that point. Because the way she looks at Ashley and side eyes her, like, I can't stand you. She throws them side eyes at Ashley. So Giselle said, I heard there's a lot going on. Let's get into it. What's tea? What's tea? So Giselle brings up Ashley asking Kay about her scar, and Ashley tries to reenact Kay being upset. And she was like, oh my God, Ashley, see, this is. Jackie comes in and says, hi, beautiful ladies. Giselle, I'm so glad you're back. These ladies don't know how to act when you're not here. Mia comes down, and in her confessional, Giselle says, clearly all hell broke loose. Everybody should be exhausted from the shade and screaming of it all. Like, let's just have a nice day. Can we do that? I'm glad that she's to the point where she wants to have nice days. Okay. These ladies, oh, wait. So she says, let's have a nice day. Can we do that? Child, the ladies are all downstairs. Wendy comes down looking good in her pink. Y'all, she is pretty in pink. They do a shot. They say, let's do shots. Mia pours it in Wendy's mouth. And it was Mia, or did she give Wendy a little kiss on the side of her face? Child, Mia like Wendy, or she wants her, or both, child. They pour it in Stacy's mouth, but before they do, Stacy's like, do I have to? They pour it in Stacy's mouth. She takes it like a champ. Child. They say, who gonna do Mia? When I tell you, Mia tipped that bottle to them lips. If y'all are watching on YouTube, you can see. She tipped to that bottle to them lips. Child, Mia, the throat goat, takes the bottle down to the little circle part, takes the bottle all the way down. I said, the original throat goat, Nancy Reagan, will be proud of you, Mia. In case y'all ain't know, they was calling Nancy Reagan the throat goat of Hollywood. They said she was on sets just taking them down. So Nancy Reagan is the original throat goat. Look it up if you don't believe me. Nancy is the original throat goat. Nancy will be proud of you, Mia. Child, anyway, so Mia gags, and the ladies are like, they crack up and says, now, ladies, that's how you keep two men. And Giselle says, no, thank you. The actual gag of it is that you're keeping one of the men, Mia. You bragging like that's how you keep two men. Man, didn't you tell Jacqueline you was basically funding Gordon's whole lifestyle because he was cut off? So you bragging about taking it to the base of their heads while you paying for one of them. Okay. I was just asking. In her confessional, Stacy says, wow, that's a special skill that most men don't have, that most women don't have. Before that, Wendy says, ink. No, I'm sorry. Let me go back because after Giselle in her confessional says, Mia, you just solidified what we've all been thinking. Wendy in her confessional says, ink, Gordon, I get it. I get it. I get why you stayed. And Stacy says, wow, that's a special skill that most women don't have. So Mia lets them know they're on their way to lunch. They're going to stop by the joint, the first practice that she opened there. She don't even own it anymore. She sold it, but they're going to go by there. In her confessional, she said, this city has shaped me in so many ways. And Ink and I actually moved to Charlotte together. I started my entrepreneur journey. The strip club showed me a few things. So all the girls are in the Sprinter on the way to the joint. And Wendy is telling Giselle that she walked out on Stacy on the balcony, twirling her hair, basically talking to TJ. Giselle says, do we know this TJ person? Excuse me. Also, Stacy said, what do you mean? Do you know him? You can Google him, child. She didn't have to say it. Giselle was already on her phone like this. Oh, yeah, I'm Googling. So Giselle says, again, she's Googling him. Stacy said, lets us know that he's a well-known, I'm sorry, he's a well-known actor. So they look up his IMDb. Giselle was like, oh, that's the back of his head. I said, my God, on today. Wendy said, so he's a background actor. And Stacy said, no, not a background actor. Okay. So he's in LA right now. So Giselle was like, when's the next time you plan on seeing him? Because he's in LA. Stacy said, I think he's coming in this week. He tries to come in every other week to make sure I'm okay. Giselle said, are y'all having sex? Stacy says, no, we haven't. Giselle said, who said that you didn't want to have sex until you were married? And Stacy says, we decided we didn't want to have sex until we're married. When I tell you they cracked up in Stacy's face, Ashley said, maybe I should try not to have sex for 3 months. Child, Ashley in this hair, they showed the shape up. I said, she having a good time, honey. Me, now this part, sorry, this part was funny to me. Mia is back there telling Jacqueline and Ashley she hasn't had sex because she's so stiff. Giselle says, have you felt around? You need to know what you're working with. Stacy says, he's a beautiful man. I know what I'm working with. Mia starts initiating the stiff sex. Y'all, when I tell y'all, I was hollering. It was funny. I'm not going to lie. Wendy said it could it could be a thumb. Giselle said, you know exactly what we're talking about. Stacy said, listen, I'm not going to lie. It was him who made the decision. He's a devout Christian. Giselle said, can you feel around with him before you get married? Stacy said, I would like to, but and Giselle says, can you do oral before you get married? Stacy says, I don't know. I don't know that he's willing. And in her confessional, Stacy said, yes, it's difficult. However, you can direct your attention to other things. There's working out and going to the zoo. Girl, what? Now, Stacy, I get what you're saying. Look, they're clowning her about this. There are men and women who are committed to remaining celibate. The issue I think that people are having is that they feel like TJ doesn't want to sleep with her for other reasons and not that he's just celibate. Because on one hand, we say men only think about sex. They only want you, to just be laid down underneath of them or, be porn stars in the bedroom. But then when you have a man saying that he wants to wait, then we're making fun of that. I do believe men can be abstinent. I do. It may be hard. Again, though, because I think people are just looking at TJ and assuming he's one way. And that's the reason that he doesn't want to have sex, if you know what I mean. Anyway, so let me see. Stacy said it's difficult. You can go to the zoo, child. You can work out. So Giselle is cracking up. Oh, but in her confessional, she says, however, you can direct your attention to other things. There's working out, going to the zoo. So Giselle can laugh as much as she wants alone. I said, no, that was a read. In the scene, Giselle is cracking up. Y'all, she can't stop cracking up behind this red pocketbook. Somebody asked how old was he? And Stacy says he's in his 40s. And Giselle said is on her phone. Is like, 40 what? Stacy says he's been waiting for his wife all this time. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about them laughing. Giselle says, I can't. She said, I just want you to test drive the car before you buy it. That's all. In her confessional, Giselle says, you have to hold on to the steering wheel, rub it a little bit. If there's a stick shift, you definitely want to move it up and down, and you want to be able to sit comfortably. Stacy, you don't know what you're getting. It's a no. Again, they just can't stop laughing, child. They all laughing. In her confessional, Wendy says, I'm getting to know Stacy and I don't want to doubt her, but it's odd. It's a little bit odd. Giselle says in on the Sprinter, and he said it with a straight face. Stacy said, he's been waiting for me, Giselle. I, a part of me feels like, is Stacy playing in our faces? Because people can come off as naive, right? Stacy can come off as naive, like, oh, Stacy's naive. Is she though? Is Stacy really naive? Or did she know she could come on this show with a very interesting storyline and play into it and not really care that people may be thinking, Stacy, let me hold your hand when we say this? I don't know. There's a part of me that thinks Stacy knows exactly what she's doing because she brings it up. Because there's a way to have that conversation and put it like, listen, we trying to hold out, anything. She's playing right into the joke of it all. They get to the joint, child. Dr. McSteamy, Dreamer, Daddy, Grandpappy, none of them is there. They don't even know Mia. When Mia walked in, she was like, I'm here. Lady, who are you? They don't know who you are. We barely know you. Anyway, Mia says she owns 22. She sold the one she's at, but she has 22 others she hasn't sold. So when they arrive, Giselle says, why are we going here? Dr. Chad introduces himself. She says, nice to meet you. I don't know you. Nice to meet you. Mia, why would you know them people? You don't even own it anymore. Dr. McDaddy Pappy is not there. Dr. Chad said he had to go to make a run to Virginia. So she goes, okay, welcome to the joint. And they're like, it's nice. Again, she doesn't own that one. In her confessional, Mia says, we are selling the businesses because the partners don't get along, which has a lot to do with Gordon. My question is, how are you selling when they locked you out? Y'all, I'm telling y'all, I feel like as soon as this divorce is actually final, they're going to unlock the keys to the joint kingdom and Gordon going to be right back in. They just don't want Mia to have access. That's what I think. Mia says if it wasn't for Gordon's mental condition, she probably would still be building with him. In other words, if he still had access to the money, like Sweet Tea on Married to Medicine, if you still had access to the money, you would still be with him. But aren't you in love with ink? Because marriage is temporary, but ink is permanent. Okay. Anyway, Mia says, again, if it wasn't for Gordon, she says this in her confessional. If it wasn't for Gordon's mental condition, she probably would still be building with him. But going through a divorce, it's best to sell and reinvest into another concept that I have full control over, which is what I'm terrified of, starting new. But I'm going to figure it out. The way these ladies are looking around. So again, Mia is telling them about the 22 locations she's going to be selling. Stacy says, how many? Jazzy says, how many? Stacy says 22. I'm sorry, Mia says 22. Stacy says, you have 22 of these? Wow, that's amazing. Jazzy says, I'm so inspired by your entrepreneurial journey. Mia says, there's still some franchises available. Jazzy says, I'm a businesswoman myself. And if the numbers make sense, Mia says, yes, it definitely does. Child, so they sitting around. Giselle says, what's your busy time on the weekends? I said, that was shade. Because they're not busy. Mia said it depends on the market. Y'all, I'm so embarrassed. My butt cheeks are like this, clenched. Because this isn't Mia. This is embarrassing. Are you not embarrassed? Like, why are you there? Giselle says, wow. In her confessional, Kay says, I don't know what Mia brought us to this joint to prove, but it still has not been proven. I'm not sure what's happening here. In her confessional, Wendy says, this is not birthday worthy. Like, is she going to have some of her strippers come? And in her confessional, Karen is saying, this is Mia saying, I'm going to take y'all, Dr. Wendy, to a place that talks about me on your birthday. Child, then they watch the doctor crack a neck. Mia says, is anybody hungry? Y'all want to grab some lunch, child? So they head out to lunch. They order around the shots and food. Karen doesn't get any shots. She says she'll take coffee. In her confessional, Ashley says, I'm very proud of her for sticking to her new lifestyle. But I will say, I have seen this show before. They flash back to a couple years ago when they were out to dinner. And Wendy was like, Is that milk? And Karen said, Yeah, she was drinking milk because she had an ulcer and it was painful. Back in her confessional, Ashley says, I'm hoping she sticks to it. So Giselle says, When I came in, Jazzy downloaded me on the T. So first, I want to check on you, Kiana, are you okay? I don't like hearing that you were crying. Kay says, I was very upset, very upset. Giselle says, Ashley, do you want to apologize or something? So, uh, excuse me, y'all. So, Ashley said, I said I'm sorry earlier. So Giselle says, Oh, you did? Oh, okay, great, great. Kay said she was actually just piggybacking off of Mia, in my opinion. Kay says, which I was totally offended though, when you of all people brought up basically the drug dealer. Mia says, Why me of all people? Kay said, You've had a very colorful past as a stripper. So Mia is basically like, a stripper is not a drug dealer. Kay said, but it's all in the same arena pretty much. It's close enough. Mia says basically a drug dealer is illegal. Stripping is not. Kay said, okay, so selling ass is fine. Karen said, not selling. It's fine. Jacqueline says, that's a prostitute. is Mia says, when I called you on it, you didn't deny it because you know it's a fact. Kay says, okay, what's my current man doing? Giselle said, oh, Jesus. Kay said, look at the security while you're posted on the corner. Uh, what? Mia says with air quotes, social work. Child, the food comes. They said, thank God the food is here. They all start eating. Giselle says, we're going to move on. Jazzy says, yes, I do have an event. My man is being honored. Every year, the Super Bowl winning team gets to go to the White House. So I'm going to put a party together. And I made a huge point to invite all the single men. So Giselle's like, yes, Jazzy. They're all excited. All the single men. Jazzy says, I'm going to get y'all right. Don't worry. Ashley says, the more the merrier. So Jacqueline says, because mind you, they're talking about the men. Jacqueline, because I'm in my whole workout mode now. I've literally lost like 15 pounds from last year. Jazzy says, congratulations. That's bomb. Mia says she goes to the gym and I just get lipo. So Jacqueline said, it just makes me feel strong and like, don't F with me. Giselle said, is that what you're saying to Karen? I said, Giselle, okay, get it popping. Because I heard that was a lot. Karen pulls down her shades and says, I'm so busy. She's so busy dodging darts. Stacy said, she seriously is like Wonder Woman with the bracelets, like the old school Wonder Woman. Jacqueline says, I just feel like there's a lot of butt kissing going on around here. So they all get up to go back to the house. On the Sprinter van back, Mia tells the girls they're going to Charlotte's finest rooftop. In her confessional, she says she tells the girls to wear their fiery red. She wants to see sexy, sexy, sexy. So leave the moo at home, Giselle. Excuse me, y'all. So she tells Giselle, leave the moo at home. The ladies are all getting ready, all looking beautiful in their red. Giselle says, is it me or is it hot? Why is it 75 degrees? I said, oh, 75 is good for me. I think Wendy FaceTimes Eddie and Lil Cam was there along with the dog Zoe. She said she just wanted to check in on them. And when she hung up, she said they celebrate her birthday harder than her. Child Jazzy calls Darius and checks on him, and they're going in and out. Service is poor. You can barely understand. The communication is going in and out. You understand every other word. We don't know what's been said. Sort of like every time Jazzy tries to describe the timeline of Darius and then babies and then baby mamas and her relationship. In a confessional, she does talk about how basically Darius doesn't have a contract again and he doesn't know what team he's going to play for yet. And it's like them being fired. She really wants to be available for him to talk if needed. Did he get picked up by another team that's not like in Maryland now? Is he with the Browns or something? I don't know. I thought he got picked up by another team. Anyway, Child, Giselle, and Ashley sit outside. Ashley brings up her song, Living and Thriving and Healing and Jiving, something like that. Giselle's reaction had me hollering, no, ma'am. Mm-mm. Giselle says maybe it should be like an emo beat. Most of the ladies are downstairs. They all come in the room together. Jacqueline is so like you can't you just be saying stuff. She says somebody's coochie stink. It smells like coochie. So Mia says, "Is it me?" And Jacqueline bends down to smell Mia's coochie. No, I guess it's not Mia. Jacqueline says, "I don't know what that was, girl." In her confessional, Jacqueline says, "Girl code. I got to make sure my girl isn't smelling like fish up in here." What? Ashley says, "People are real freaky nowadays." Now, girl, Ashley, what we not gonna do is act like smelling coochie is so freaky. When didn't you tell us a few seasons ago that you and Michael had threesomes and you was finger banging somebody on the dance floor in the club? In the club. Okay, anyway. Stop, girl. But anyway, Karen is looking good. They're all beautiful. Karen says she looks I said Karen in these one-liners. Karen said, I look like a hooker about to breastfeed. They call Wendy. Wendy comes down in her all white, y'all, with her policeman hat on and white, because that's what it looked like, one of them old school policeman hats. But she looked really good though. She looked real good. Somebody was like, "Where's your red?" And she said, "I have on a red lip." Wendy, you was killing it. You look good. Karen says, "Oh, it might be cold out there." Mia says, "Well, ho, ho, ho." Child, Karen came back so quick and said, "And a ho, ho, ho would know." I said, "Come on." The Grand Dame is undefeated when it comes to these ladies. I'm sorry. We know the Grand Dame in Lions in season one. Y'all, she's undefeated. So on the sprinter on the way there, Jazzy says, "We're going to play F, Mary, Kill." She says she will kill Karen because she already over there asleep. Stacy says, "Where is Karen?" Y'all, the way Karen raised that arm, when I tell you, I hollered because it felt like the baby is tired. Karen is tired. She said she would. So Jazzy said she would kill Karen because she over there sleep. She would marry Dr. Wendy and she would F obviously Mia. Ashley says she would F Stacy. Stacy says she's honored. Giselle says she ain't done it in a while, so she might be ready. So in her confessional, Ashley says, "I like being in the presence of bad bees." And Stacy is a stunning girl. We just got to grease up her joints, put a little WD-40 on them things. In her confessional, Stacy says the F word is so harsh. Shouldn't we say make love? Child, Giselle says Stacy just laying there stiff, ain't doing nothing. So Ashley, it's her turn. She says she would marry Giselle and she would kill Wendy, but bring her back. Immediately. She would give her mouth to mouth. Um, who did she say she would marry? I missed that part. Not marry. Who did she say she would kill? No. Ashley said she would marry Giselle, kill Wendy, and bring her back to life. Oh, yeah, but she would F Stacy. That's right. So we got all hers. Okay. It was Wendy's turn. Wendy said she would F Giselle. Now, we did see all this in the trailer, and I know me and a lot of other folks was like, y'all just made up now all of a sudden. But I did think her reasoning in her confessional was cute, even though it's still like, I love Wendy's yellow confessional look. But she says she would F Giselle because we've been at odds for so long. There's nothing better than makeup sex. She said she would marry Kay and she would kill Jacqueline. Giselle said, and not bring her back to life. Karen got up like an old woman with this sweater. I said, but that would be me with the sweater though, because I get cold easily. It felt like Karen had to work her way up. She said that she would F the ish out of Mia. She would marry Jazzy and Kay. And she said, and she would kill Jacqueline in a hurry. I said, Jacqueline, they all want you out of here, baby. In her confessional, Karen says, Jacqueline has betrayed me the most out of this group. So, yes, I would kill her. I'm Karen Corleone. Don't F with me. Is that like the Godfathers? Isn't that their last name, the Corleones? Is that where she got that from? Y'all know I've never seen The Godfather. Anyway, so they have Stacy go. Stacy says, "Do I have to play?" Then she said, if she had to marry anybody, it would be Ashley. If she had to F anybody, it would be Mia because she wouldn't be bored. And in her confessional, she says, "I'm so not an undercover freak." Okay, maybe I am. I can't believe I just said that. Oh, she is so cute. Um, what'd she say? Okay. And then she says, and if I got a killer bee, it's gonna be you. And points to Jacqueline. Jacqueline, they want you dead. Meaning not dead for real, but like they probably get nervous every time you speak to because they know it's gonna be cringy. Anyway, so yeah. So where am I at? Oh yeah, okay. So Stacy says she was taking Jacqueline out. Jacqueline says she would definitely F Ashley. Child, as Ashley got that champagne bottle, she got it tipped to her lips because I've already F Mia. I like this is starting to get on my nerves now. We get it. She said, I've already F Mia. Try to look on everybody's face. In her confessional, Ashley says, Jacqueline has already acknowledged that she went splunking in Jacqueline's cave. They show a flashback to when Mia was telling Giselle and Robin and them that she took a vagina to look in, she took a flashlight to look in Jacqueline's vagina because Jacqueline wanted to know if something was going on down there. Ashley said in her confessional, that's all you, girl. In her confessional, Mia said she talks too much, talking about Jacqueline. She said, what happens at the lake stays at the lake. So I don't even think we got the rest of Jacqueline. I don't remember if we did, child. Mia says she would F the ish out of all of them. In her confessional, Giselle says Mia could talk about 1 million she slept with. Jacqueline don't care, but let her talk about a woman. Jacqueline, it's over for Jacqueline. On the bus, Jacqueline says you ain't popping unless you got haters. Are the haters in the room with us? Okay. Ooh, child. Back in her confessional, Giselle says Jacqueline is like a lover scorned. Like that ain't true. Like whenever she talks about another woman, that ain't true. You just want to be with me. In her confessional, Jacqueline says, I'm never jealous of what Mia does with other girls because at the end of the day, I'm the queen bee up in here and they better acknowledge me in my presence. Kay says, thirsty. Girl, the way Mia treats you, why would you think anybody else would treat you any better? Anyway, Mia says, and I'm a lover. I'm not killing it. I'm not killing anybody because I'm a lover. I'm Mia Moore, baby. We all know she got that from Carlos King Child because he be calling her Mia Moore. Anyway, they get to the hotel rooftop. It looks really beautiful. Mia says, welcome to my city. Isn't this fun? They all talk about how beautiful it is. Wendy says, Kay, you're all the way down there. And Kay says, yeah, you're so far. Can you hear me? Karen says, Wendy, what a birthday. Wendy says, what a birthday. I'm going to remember this forever. Karen says, yeah, this is a good one. Mia says, I really want things to be great for you. So Wendy says, I really normally just celebrate my birthday with Eddie in her adulthood. I have not done a celebration where I've invited outside people. What I realize is I've never felt like people would celebrate me. And Wendy says, it's funny because y'all met me at 35. And when y'all met me, I had just had a baby. And she starts tearing up and she says, I was so unsure of myself. And you guys have seen me go through having 3 kids, see me go through getting my body back. And they show Wendy joining the show and the baby. And she was talking about her body after baby. Oh, and I seen Candace. I miss my candy girl. They show Wendy joining the show. They show, again, her talking about her body. And then when she got her body done, she said, you guys have seen me go through trying different business ventures. We see her talking to Karen about her 1-paragraph business plan. She said, at 40, I have realized I'm enough. I said, you know what, Wendy? And that struck me. 2 things Wendy struck me in the last 2 episodes. She said, people that are afraid of getting older or fear that they haven't accomplished everything they wanted. And that hit me because that's how I feel. But then she said in this episode, I realized I'm enough. And I feel like we have to realize, even if I haven't gotten to where I want to be yet, I'm still enough. And that's a hard thing to do sometimes. Realize that you're still enough while you're going through the process as you see the years go by. And it seems like your dream may never manifest, but you still are enough. So that's really important to remember. So shout out to Dr. Wendy for that. She said, I don't need nothing else. So Ashley said, you inspire me so much to be a more involved person. I really appreciate that about you. I was wondering if Ashley meant like either politically or maybe not politically, but like getting involved in the community, for her to say, you inspire me to get more involved, to be an involved person. So I wonder if that's what she meant. Giselle says, okay, birthday girl, it's my turn. I love where we are. It's been stale for some time and now it's rich and I'm here for all of it. Mia says to Wendy, I know we've had a very interesting past as well. Wendy says, very interesting. And Mia says the highs and the lows. And Giselle says, vaginas. Mia then says vagina touching and all of that. That was the high. They show a flashback to Giselle asking Mia if Wendy showed her vagina. Mia opens her arms as if to say Wendy opened her legs like that. And Giselle's like, no. Then at a reunion, Wendy said she was crying about something else. I forget now, but she said we all show each other our vaginas. It was tequila. Jacqueline says that definitely happened, meaning the touching of the vaginas. Wendy says no vaginas were touched. They was not kitty clicking or touching. Okay. Since Jazzy says we missed that, don't worry about it. I believe Jacqueline says Wendy was her dance partner. Stacy says there's a lot of women. I mean, Stacy says there's not a lot of women that I admire, and I admire you. Jazzy says I think you're brilliant, creative, altruistic, and inspiring. Giselle leans over and says, "Ask Ashley what's altruistic." Ashley said you give to others without expecting anything in return. Giselle says, "Okay." Jazzy said, I had expectations when I met not only the group, but you as well, and you supersede those expectations. Karen says, you are a wonder. You are a wonder the way you take on so many challenges in your life and you succeed. I love that about you. You've been there for me. Kay says, I just wish that God continues to shine his light on you and you keep doing what you're doing. And you know, you have always been the glue for everything that I've been through. And for that, I love you. Jacqueline says, I know initially when I met Wendy, it was very rocky because she was basically looking at me like, who are you? And I remember that child because she was speaking for me about the cancer, when Giselle was like, is this what cancer, no cancer looks like? Mia was her mouthpiece. Wendy said, who is this? Oh my God. Wendy says, I was just trying to figure out who was talking. Wendy said, you're Jacqueline. I didn't know who was talking. Jacqueline said there's definitely more of a warmth to you than before, a warmth, from Wendy to her now than before. Jacqueline says, and as you can see, I'm here to stay. I said, my God. Wendy says, oh God. I said the same thing, Wendy. Wendy says, oh God, now it's turning into her. Thank you so much, Jacqueline. I love you. No, thank you so much, Jacqueline. Love you. Good job. They bring out the champagne and Ashley was over alcohol. Ashley says, is 40 having some? Meaning Wendy, because if 40's having some, I'm having it. But if she ain't having it, I'm not. These ladies is the childish, this champagne and this alcohol, it then wore the ladies out. So let me see. Ashley says, cheers to Stacy opening up and giving out her man's government name. Giselle says, kudos to you. Then Stacy pulls an OG housewife movie. I'm sorry. Stacy, they can say what they want about Stacy. Stacy know what she's doing. Stacy said, I feel like there's been a lot of focus on me and we haven't talked about Jazzy's man. Y'all, if y'all go back and watch that camera, the way it pans to Ashley and Ashley is like, you better do it, daughter. You know exactly what you're doing. Run with this. Stacy says, is this your future husband? Who is he? Mia said, bitch, you done loosened up and raised her glass in her confessional. Karen says, Stacy definitely became a little less stiff on this trip, especially when she was asking about me and my charges 3 and 4 times. She was loose as a mother effer. That Karen is in this confessional cussing down like this season. Karen is just like, Jazzy says, you see what happens when you give children liquor? She says, anyway, so I'm thankful that you did ask about Darius. He's been the best thing that's ever happened to me. He is someone that I'm going to marry. And we've had some bumps in the road and we've gotten through those bumps. He's a great father to 2 boys that were both either there or already created before me. Jacqueline says, how old are the children? And she says the children are 3 and turned 1 a month ago. Child, a look on Giselle's face was like, she was doing the mental calculations. Jacqueline says, okay. Jazzy said, Jacqueline, if you have questions, I'm more than happy to answer. In her confessional, Mia says she told me the story like 8 different ways. They show a flashback of Jazzy and Mia, and Jazzy says, I'm enjoying his little bachelor pad, and I look up and there's like a kid on the wall. That was the first kid. And then by the time we got serious, she was pregnant with the second one, Mia. Jacqueline said, so that's kind of close to when you guys were together, right? Giselle says, you guys been together like for how long? Basically asking how long. Jazzy says a couple of years. When he and I were dating, she was about 2 or 3 months pregnant. Stacy says, okay. Jazzy said she was already pregnant before we even had sex. Giselle says, Did he know? Jazzy says he did not know. That was the delay in me knowing. In her confessional, Ashley said, now they've been together 2 years and the baby is 1 year old, the first baby. The first baby is 9 months. So if they have been dating for 3 months prior to him conceiving the second baby, another 6 months in, she finds out about the baby. 2 plus 2 is not equaling 4. Kay says, I've seen this. I've been through this. I dated someone who was in the league in the NFL. And it was very familiar to Jazzy's situation. He had 2 women pregnant at the same time. They happened to be twins. I dreamt about it. I seen it. So somebody said twins. And um, I think Jacqueline said twins again or something. And Jacqueline said two sets of twins. Kay said it was 2 people pregnant at the same time. That's all I'm going to say. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't get past it. Mia said, can you tell me what team he played for? Kay said, leave me alone, Mia. Leave me alone. Mia says, no, because this sounds really effing familiar. Mia says, no, I say that because the same thing happened to me. So I'm just trying to make sure it's not the same guy. I need to know the timeline. Mia was with Ink in high school. At 19, they moved to Charlotte. She's in the strip club. Now I'm going to tell you what she said on Carlos King's podcast. She was in the strip club at 19 when she met Gordon. She said Gordon was tricking off on her. The other women got him to co-sign for her car, but they had not did anything, not had sex. He then disappeared for 2 years. I mean, he disappeared after 2 years. So she knew him for 2 years. They did nothing. She was with Ink. He disappears. And that time she got married, had her first son, and got divorced. Then links up with Gordon again. Has been with Gordon all this time, and then is back with Ink. Where in that time frame? Anyway, Mia says, I'm just trying to make sure it's not the same guy. Mia says, the Ravens? They all say Mia. And then somebody said the Jaguars, I think, or something. Kay says, no. He played for Jesus at this point. Bottom line is, date any form of a successful man and you should be prepared. I was like, Giselle said, even if he's not successful. Ashley says, why don't we support Jazzy in that this is not a conventional relationship? But I think in this group, we're learning that it's not a one size fits all for everybody. Karen says, life is short. Go for it. In her confessional, Giselle says, Jazzy, he was cheating on you, girl. It's okay. It's fine. He got 2 kids from it. Girl, and you still want to be with him. Just say that. Stacy says, I would like to make a toast to Ashley Darby. Ashley, you and you alone have allowed me to feel comfortable opening up in this group. They all say, oh, Ashley's all excited. And how you're handling your life, your divorce, and your family. You're giving me the courage to be a little bit more open, talking about mine. Ashley says, cheers, Stacy. That's big. They all cheers. In her confessional, Stacy says, when I think about my divorce and I think about being a single mother and all that entails, I would be crazy to not ask these women who have had so many different life experiences how they've made it. They bring out a cotton candy tree, and Stacy says, I love the cotton candy tree. Kay says, it's been fun, Mia. Mia says, we're going to head back to the house. Jacqueline says, finally, it's happening to me. Mia says, we're going to go put on our jammy jams. And Karen said, I'm going to bed. Jacqueline says, and y'all need to take a shower because y'all been dirty all week. What? What the? I, Stacy says, what in the world? And Giselle says, I was like, was Giselle a little tipsy? Giselle says, what kind of BS is that? Jacqueline is so corny, y'all. Karen says, it's been real. Wendy says, y'all, not only am I 40, I got 4 degrees. Somebody said, Wendy, let's exit the building. They get back to the house and they have a good old time. And when I tell you, the way Wendy walked in with that bottle turned up, child, they get to that next morning. The way Wendy was slumped at the kitchen table, the top of that wig flipped to one side of them glasses. I said, oh, they had a night. What's her name? Stacy sitting there just as chipper. A time was had. Stacy was basically like, when did you go to bed? Child, I think Wendy said like 4 hours ago. Stacy was chipper. She said, look, the problem is when I overdo it, I keep going. You got to keep going. You stopped abruptly. Champagne, you need some champagne. Champagne for Wendy. Wendy basically was like, absolutely not. In her confessional, Wendy said, my head is pounding and I want Stacy to leave me alone. And she's so chipper. But it was funny when in the beginning of that scene when Stacy was like, how's life? in your 40s. And I forget, she either said not good, terrible, something, but she was the way she was eating on that bacon. Anyway, so then Chipper Stacy went around to all the rooms. Child Stacy went to Ashley. Child Ashley said, "Hey," Ashley was throwing that stuff in that suitcase. Ashley looked like she was rode hard and put away wet, y'all. Stacy had the same thought because in her confessional, Stacy said Ashley looked like she was ran through. Stacy said Ashley looked like she was ran through the washing machine all night. Stacy said, I've done TV for many years, morning TV for many years. So I'm used to being up early and I'm feeling great. She goes to check on Jacqueline. Jacqueline says, Good morning, Jacqueline. She goes to check on Jazzy. Jazzy's packing. Stacy with Little Miss Sunshine Child. Mia and Jacqueline was in that room talking about Jazzy pouring her heart out. And basically had a timeline is messed up. And they said, nobody wants to be the other girl. Jacqueline says, but they're getting a house together. Mia says, I got a house. Mia and Karen, I'm sorry, Giselle and Karen were leaving and was saying, we'll see you. Giselle said, we see you back in the P. Karen said, can you see us, Wendy? Girl, in her confessional, Karen says, even though Mia sucked as a hostess, this trip gave her something better to think about than her upcoming court case. She said, of course, I'm fearful, but I have faith that my truth will come out. Karen, the truth is you tried to carve your initials into a tree with your car. That's the truth. With Stella Artois slash Stella Rosa cocked in between your knees while you was driving open. That's what happened, right? Okay. Allegedly. That's your truth, Karen. Allegedly. Anyway, in her confessional, Karen says, oh yeah, I told y'all that. She said, of course, I'm fearful, but my truth will come out. Again, she tried to carve her initials in a tree with her car. Her truth is going to come out. Ashley was, as she's leaving, she said, I'm over this. I'm never drinking again. The ladies, child, away. Wendy at first was sitting up in that SUV still. I said, oh, she's trying not to move so she don't throw up. Throw up, Wendy. You'll feel better. The ladies leave. Wendy says, one day is forte. The SUVs take off. And until next Sunday, y'all, I love y'all. Talk to y'all later. See ya. Child, I can't even get out the Zoom, y'all. I got to move it over because I got the button covered up. See y'all next Sunday. No, next Tuesday, but we're going to watch the episode Sunday as a family.